privacy changes and things like that. I did mention, take a look at how Meta does trade, just for benchmarking sake. And it closed at under 175 Meta before they had that earnings. They had a little bit of a relief trade, a big relief trade up toward earnings. And so we haven't gotten back down there and see if it tries to get some traction above its own lows. Of course, a very different story because it's down so much already, but also has that very large earnings base that has attracted a lot of value investors. Carl, unlike the past.
Yeah, we're going to watch social media for sure, and we've mentioned the potential effect on Twitter. Of course, shareholder meeting coming up. Webbush last night says 5420. Dan Ives says is out the window. Currently a 60% chance in Dan's view that Musk tries to walk and use this spam account issue as the scapegoat. With Snap's disaster court warning, accepting a lower bid price would be a much better alternative for the board, Webbush argues. Yeah. As for Tesla, a couple of interesting things, David. One is Cathie Wood bought 16,000 shares of Tesla, first time since February. And then Bernstein, Tony Sacconaghi comes out and says that a fall to 400 on Tesla would require Musk to sell about 13 million shares. So we continue to watch his risk here as he tries to buy this company.
Yeah, listen, respectfully, many would disagree with Dan Ives. They would go back to the contract, which is very straightforward and requires Mr. Musk to buy this company at 54.20 and does not have a lot of outs and has specific performance in the equity. And it would have to be fraud on the part of Twitter, essentially, knowing that, in fact, they were misstating the number of bot accounts or fake accounts on the platform. It'd be very difficult for him to prove that. But again, nothing says that if you're Twitter, you don't say, all right, we'll give you a little bit of a discount if you will give us a far larger reverse break fee and promise, and no way or how are you ever getting out of it from here. But man, that is one enormous spread. But of course, also perhaps being pressured as well in the fundamentals as a result of what we've been talking about with Snap. Guys, Pinterest also down 20%. In the control book, can we put up a 3-year Pinterest because that gives you a look at Twitter and Tesla in terms of, by the way, great sales there by Musk when he did sell at the 900 range, at least as much as $6 billion in stock to help pay for Twitter. There's Pinterest. Look at that, Mike. It's at this point it's a total, almost a total round trip from where it was, over a 3-year period. Actually, does that say down 30%? Yeah, but just gives you some sense as to what's happened to so many of these one-time multiple companies. Of course, remember briefly, PayPal seemed to be interested in buying it, although it was never clear exactly what was going on there.
Exactly, and that's one of those little spikes on the way down was that PayPal news. It's remarkable. And to your point about Twitter, I mean, if you think about how this spread is arrived at, it's essentially some probability that the deal gets done as it is meant to at 54.20. Then applying that probability to where you think that stock would trade if there were no deal. And so that assumed level that Twitter would trade at, absent a deal, probably has gone down a lot. It doesn't account for the whole spread, which is over 40% upside right now from where Twitter is trading. But it is a dynamic story, also related to just the willingness of arbitrageurs to really step in and and make that bet, underwrite that probability.
David, I know you like to watch Bilson over at Gordon Haskett. He says Snap's problem is Musk's problem. Now, we've heard people say Musk plays hardball, and he might get an adjustment like the one LVMH got at Tiffany. But that was a 2.6% haircut. Mm-hmm. Musk doesn't need one of those or even 5 of those. 10 Tiffany's is more like it. None of this will make it easier for Musk to draw in more investors or keep the ones that were early recruits.
No, all true. And Don's very good and always enjoy reading his stuff, which is usually dead on. Yeah, listen, Twitter's fascinating, continues to be. And again, that spread is enormous, as Mike just pointed out, for any number of reasons. But it is going to be a real test. Still waiting for them to sue him. That's the one question I keep asking. Why haven't they as yet just sort of started the war?
Well,
they just
David,
keep taking income.
Just on that point, what specific landmark or responsibility that Musk has to deliver something, absent just finally closing the deal, would be the trigger for them to say we have to sue you to adhere to the deal?
Well, reasonable best efforts. I would argue he's not making them right now.
Yeah.
tweeting constantly and questioning whether there's fraud at a company that you're buying doesn't appear to be your reasonable best efforts to get the deal done. So he's in breach right there, you could argue.
Yeah.
Guys, speaking